Staying safe in traffic is a daily concern for Nigerian road users. Security is an important matter in a populated country like Nigeria, where over 5 million cars ply the streets and roads in Lagos and Abuja daily. While the traffic situation can be quite frustrating, it is not the time wasted that terrifies most road users, but the possibility of a strong armed robbery while on the road. Hello and welcome to Crime Watch. My name is Ivy Kano. We'll begin today's program with the crime news.
4 Nigerians have sustained injuries in fresh wave of xenophobic attacks in South Africa. The attacks reportedly took place at Witbank area of Mpumalanga province. No death was recorded, but property worth millions were destroyed. An eyewitness who expressed concern over the incident disclosed that a Nigerian whose shop was burnt sought refuge at a police station. At least 490 Nigerians fled South Africa in September as a result of xenophobic attacks. Another house of terror has been uncovered in Zaria, Kaduna State. 11 people were rescued from the house where they have been chained for some years. Security operatives raided the center known as Malam Aliu Mai Daku Salatu Fati, and we are told about another similar center, but the owners fled before they could get there. The Deputy Governor of Kaduna State later visited the inmates. This is coming less than 1 month after 147 tortured inmates were set free at a center, and at least 300 others were uncovered in another raid on another center, all in Kaduna State.
And that very morning, just said I should dress up, that we should go to the place of work. He promised me that the charge will come. So on getting there, I just took me to the one area, one compound there, because I didn't know the area. He just took me there, just took me to the house. I got an unknown house there. I just saw the people there shackled, with shackles on legs, and I was like, before I could say anything, I was lured inside, I was hijacked, I was attacked.
We're not stopping just like this. We will continually get all the people that are involved, free all the inmates, but before we unite them back to their families, we'll try as much as possible to offer them treatment, psychological support, and behavioral management. 2
of them were under chain when we came, and we have unlocked them for now. They are really in very bad situation. But the worst situation is that they are operating this rehabilitation center without approval. No information from anybody, they are just on their own.
Our first big story explores the rise of traffic robberies and the rights of commuters in most growing cities in Nigeria. There is alarming rise in traffic robberies in West Africa's commercial hub and other emerging cities, which has become a major source of worry to road users and the government. In recent times, the fear of traffic robber is the beginning of wisdom, as motorists will rather wind up their glasses completely when stuck in traffic. Surprisingly, the culprits seem invisible until they appear right before you, skillfully snatching your mobile phone, wristwatch, costly jewelry, or a bag lying lazily on any of the car seats. In Lagos, stories have been told of how notorious traffic robbers have defied the presence of security personnel and gone ahead to attack innocent road users, cutting away valuables and sometimes killing those who struggle with them. For Ekene Okoro, a journalist, it was a bitter pill to swallow when he recently came face to face with some daredevil Lagos traffic robbers. Ekene is a Nigerian journalist who was recently robbed in traffic.
Yeah.
Now we met up with Ekene and we want him to tell us what his experience was like. Ekene, what really happened?
So traffic in Lagos is like a common feature, So on that day, I left a bit earlier, nine, I think about to 9 or thereabouts, and it was a smooth ride. I usually pick up a colleague in the office who I drop on the road about 15-20 minutes before I get to my own home. So I'm very close to there's a place called Toyota bus stop. It's a popular bus stop along the Oshodi-Apapa Expressway. The rain came down hard. In fact, it's perhaps one of the heaviest downpour. That is just the definition of what you call downpour. It was very heavy. In fact, I was a bit apprehensive. Driving became quite difficult, but we continued the journey. And when I got to my friend's bus stop, I was worried for him because I didn't have an umbrella to give him. He had a laptop with him, and I was wondering how he was going to get home from there because he still had about 15 minutes journey to walk to his house. But he assured me that he would be fine. And he came out, and I watched him cross the road, and he left. I continued my journey, and about 200 meters away from Sele bus stop, I was driving on the left-hand side, and those who are familiar with that route will know that currently there's an ongoing construction. So the main lane had already been cordoned off, so everybody had to stick to the service lane. So I was on the left-hand side of the service lane, and I was just enjoying the music from my car, hoping that in the next few minutes the traffic that had built up, perhaps because of the flood, that the rain had caused, would just, subside. And from nowhere, it was like a Nollywood scene. From nowhere, I just saw two young boys. They couldn't have been more than 25 from my own projection. They just banged at my, windscreen, and their words were, "Wind down or we'll break it." That they even startled me the way they came at me, from the blues, because it was dark, with the rain falling. So how could people, be coming out at that time, but that was the case. So the first thoughts was, okay, you know what, just cooperate.
That was wise.
So I just wound down, and the moment I wound down, it became like, okay, bring your phone, bring your money, bring everything. And I was like, look, okay, calm down. I have just 1,800 naira with me. Here is my phone. I handed it over to them. I think the phone was okay, but the fact that I mentioned 1,800 naira didn't please them. They were like, how come? Maybe they must have thought I was one of those cab hailing services, because I was dressed in a t-shirt, and the car I was using then was one that is very popular with those hailing services. So they felt maybe I must have been going home after a long day job, so they ordered me to come out. At that point, I had taken off my shoes.
Okay.
So I came out, and I was just standing by, the door path. And then one of them, I think the one with the cutlass, because they had a gun and a cutlass.
Okay.
So the one with the cutlass was the one who got into the car, and it was just the handrest, the space in the handrest and the pigeonhole. In 5 seconds, he has ransacked it. He left my cars as if maybe a child has just played, in it. So while the one with the gun stood beside me and kept filling my pockets, maybe to see whether there were any valuable. So he felt my card. There's a kind of a pack where I put my cards. So he asked what was there. I said my driver's license. So he looked away. Then I don't know, perhaps from the cars behind, the flashlight had flashed on my wristwatch.
Okay.
So he said, take off your wristwatch. I gladly gave it to him, because at that point in time I just wanted them to just walk away and let me go. I thought they were done, because standing out of my car, I was wet in almost about a minute, because the rain was still pouring hard. And then when he didn't find anything inside the car, he came out and then said I should move. At that point I was wondering, move to where? Yeah. And then he said I should go to the next car behind me. I should just lead them to the next car. And the gun was behind me. Wow. that's when it dawned on me that, okay, this is more than just wanting something from you. Perhaps they wanted to use me as a bait, as a cover-up in case they don't know who the next, victim, what he has in stock for them. So in the rain, I was walking barefooted. I was just, so there and then my mind was just racing. What do I do? How do I free myself from this, trouble? Wow. And then I just said, I kept my calm. My legs were a bit shaky, but I tried to keep my calm. And then, when I was slow in movement, he pushed me a bit, and then by the time we got to the next car, I don't know where the instinct just came from, that run. So I just delved to the next, lane, and I didn't even know where I was running. I just knew I was running back to where I was driving from.
Okay.
I was just running. In the rain, I was just, with no direction, I was just running. The first thought was run far away from the scene. I'd run for like 2 minutes, and then another instinct came that, what, where are you running to? Run back to your car and move. So in that state, I went back. I started walking back to my car on the other side now, trying to ensure that I was not going to be in sight. And then I squeezed myself, got to the front of my car. Then it was wet because they left the glass wound down, and I thought I would just start my car and go. Alas, they are taking my car keys. So apparently they did that because they knew if my car key was there, I could move. And once I moved, the traffic clears because the front was now free. So it was like a dead end. What do I do now? Now I am at their mercy. So I just stood there for like another 2-3 minutes while they were robbing from car to car. There were a few people who struggled. I heard a woman's voice. She was like struggling with them. There was like this exchange, and there was one person too whose own glass was broken. Apparently he didn't want to comply. So I just stood there, and people who were passing were trying to tell me, "Oh, guy, enter your car and go." I said, "Look, they've taken my keys."
This has become a source of concern for motorists heading to work in the early hours of the morning, driving through traffic-infested zones, or heading home after a long, hectic day at work, as they call on government to look into the situation and create a long-lasting solution to this menace. In our interview segment this week, we serve you a chat with a security consultant who highlighted the possible ways of tackling the menace of traffic robbery. Hello and welcome to the interview segment of Crime Watch. And today we'll be looking at the increasing rate of, reported cases of traffic robberies. And to do justice to that is Roy Ohidiavie. I hope I got that right.
Excellent.
Now, can you just tell us the different types of traffic robberies that we have?
Okay, thank you very much for the opportunity. You see, there are different types of robbery on the highways and on the interways. Okay, one of them is planned. Actually, robbers go and plan and target a particular vehicle. They know you are coming through. There's a bullion van, either a high-profile person that went to the bank to withdraw money. They know. They are waiting for the vehicle, the plate number, they have everything. The other type of robbery on those roads that we have is spontaneous. There is no plan. You see them, they hit different types of vehicles, dip their hands through the windows, trying to snatch phones, bags, laptops, and all that. And most of those types of robbery, they monitor the vehicle to see if there are valuables inside. So people usually put their phones on the seats, put the laptop at the back seat, or because it's traffic, you are pinging and you are not careful to look if somebody is watching you. So, and sometimes your glass is worn down because of the heat or whatever. So those kind of robberies are very difficult for the police and all of that. And it's difficult in Lagos to actually curb, but we can mitigate. But one of the areas where you need to see that is difficult is the expansion that we have. Most of the expansion that we have in Lagos have created where there are populated areas in the outskirts, seeming outlets. When I call seeming outlets, I mean within and outside environs. And sometimes too, traffic robberies happen in areas where there is possibility of getaway. You see these center nets that they put on the road now, it really helps because you can't just hit somebody's car and cross to the other side. So you need to run to anywhere there is a connect. Okay, so these methods put in place have reduced it but have not stopped it. Why? Because when towns and cities grow, people need to look at influx of persons. If there is culpability on the part of the local government chairman, the councillor of that very locality, and the questions are being asked from the governor's office, the commissioner of police is asking the DPO, the area commander in that place, and saying the rate of crime here will determine how long you are going to last on this seat. Okay, not because of the returns of investment you are bringing. I don't want to know, don't bring gifts to me, don't bring money to me. If there are crimes here and they are not checked, I will make sure I redeploy you to somewhere you won't like. We see the area commander will immediately assume that superiority and take charge. You will see him on the road with his radio, watching for areas that he could make amends, holding community meetings with people and trying to find out how he can make amends. Because he can't do it alone, the state governor must also mandate the local government chairman to say, all these crimes happening in your area, you are responsible for it, and they must create areas of penalties. In the last government dispensation, I gave a proposal to the government how we can manage abandoned and uncompleted buildings. These abandoned and uncompleted buildings are possible areas of hibernation. That is where you see they sit down, they plan, and they strategize on how to commit criminal activities. We need to look at that. Then you see some areas that are dark and they have potholes. Do you know, by the time I was in the military, when we were in the Operation Sweep, then we discovered that some of these hoodlums, they actually go and dig potholes in areas where they want to strike. So when a vehicle gets there, the vehicle must slow down, and those are the times that they strike such vehicles. So when you have lonely roads like that, the government must make sure they are lighted. They must create lighting for those places. How is that possible? Sometimes it's not possible through the government alone. That is the partnership with the people that we must generate. There are companies that exist in some of those areas. Even if they don't put on their generating power, some of them have inverters that control their CCTV and other equipment within. We can partner with such people to say, okay, throw 1 or 2 bulbs on the road. Some of those places must be lighted. You know, when you do all of that, you see that you are reducing the opportunity. One of the things you need to look at is street hawkers. People that hawk during traffic. Okay, since it is a menace that have come to stay. I say it has come to stay because so many times we have seen the Kai people pursuing them and they get run down by another vehicle, and there is a hue and cry by everybody saying these people are suffering. Since the government have not been able to capture the number of youths that are jobless, to be able to engage them in any kind of payment or job employment, then another thing that you can do with them is to call them up into an agreement. You can use them as spies. The CIA and the KGB and all of those that we have in the world today, they have a pool of intelligence gathering system that involve doctors, lawyers, teachers, scooter riders, everybody. They can generate their training for such category of people and use them as freelance agents. And these guys can easily chip in when they see anything going negative.
My last question for you will be, you know, what would be those security tips you will give to road users?
For those of us that find ourselves, sometimes you are allowed to relax if you are driving, because you do your situational awareness. There's something called situational awareness. You know, you check the environment that you are, you check the flow of traffic, and you check the presence of suspicious persons around you. Once you can do your situational awareness, you should know when to wind up your car glasses. And once you are in your car, you should know how to conceal valuables. Okay, like some of us, I used to do that at times because we are in the military and all that. I used to keep a bait. You know, I leave my window somehow. I see, let me just see if one guy will try to come into my car. Let me clear his doubts and all that. But definitely, those are the things that attract them. Once they see a valuable, their brain system runs amok. The criminality in them takes over, and they want to get it at all means. You know, because most of them are on drugs. So if you are driving, you should make sure your car glasses are warmed up. If you don't have an air conditioner in the car, raise the glasses beyond the point where a full arm of a grown-up person can get into. Then make sure things that you kept there are hidden. Then I told someone the other day, I said, do you also think of possibility of maneuvering your vehicle? Yes, it's possible, but with Lagos traffic, we drive bumper to bumper. So if it is a situation where they have gotten into your car, disabled your lock system, I am appealing to people to submit themselves. Submit yourself. If you have any valuable they are asking for that they can see, give it to them. If they cannot see it, you can begin to say, there's nothing else, there's nothing else. And I'm sure you will be safe. Thank you very much. Yeah.
I actually love the part where you say when you're overwhelmed, you should just submit yourself. The wisest thing to do. We'll be speaking on the increasing rate of traffic robbery in Lagos, and our guest has been Roy Ohidiavie. Now, Crime Watch continues. From Abuja comes our second big story, and there the police is clamping down on criminal activities.
A joint operation was recently launched by the security agencies to address emerging security concerns in part of the Federal Capital Territory, especially cases of kidnapping in some rural communities. It has begun to yield positive results. So far, a total of 10 persons suspected to be working with the syndicate behind the criminal act have been arrested and are currently under investigation.
The operation is not a one-off thing. We are continuing with these investigations, with these operations, joint operations, till when we are able to rid FCT of hoodlums, most especially kidnappers that operate in difficult terrain.
Sequel to the ongoing investigation into a reported kidnap incident at Asukuru on 14 September 2019, police detectives from the Command Anti-Kidnapping Squad have arrested Sadi Abubakar, Ishaq Shaibu, and Hussein Chiruma.
Wanda ya kawo ni nan shine na sai da layi na MTN ga wata yarinya. Shine an je an kama ni an ce an yi kidnapping da shi. Abun da ya kawo ni nan.
He said he sold his MTN SIM to one girl and that he sold to the girl, and that's why the police went to arrest him and bring him here.
Farko wannan son ɗaya na yi.
So this is the first time at this.
Wallahi farko a ba da kuɗi.
Okay, that they met at a Meshai, so he said he has already planned how they can go and organize and kidnap the children.
Ni abin da ya kawo ni nan. Wannan yaro isa ya kushi aibu. Shine ya hada kidnapping.
Like I said, that is this guy. He's saying that he's the one that orchestrated the kidnapping, that he's the one that planned it.
Other arrests made include a 3-man car snatching syndicate, a suspect Chikudo Keke, caught in possession of 2 large Ghana Must-Go bags containing fake tramadol, 3 armed robbery suspects belonging to a cult group, a fraudster, and 1 Joe Tesso, a fake police officer.
I tell you that my name is John. John who? You want to know? Yeah. Then you should see on my name tag.
John Tesso maintained his innocence, saying that he is a real police officer but is being framed.
I'm not a fake police officer. I'm telling the Nigerians I'm not a fake police officer. The police should make investigations and carry out the serving about State Command. Are you getting me? The police should make. Will I wake up in the morning and work in the State Command? With uniform? Why?
It was a case of attempted fraud against the senator, Dr. Ned Nwoko. I tried to defraud him of a sum of 700,000 at first by pretending to be an assassin sent. It was a scam actually to make him believe that I was sent to take down his wife.
The Commissioner of Police says this suspect will have their day in court.
And before we go, we'll leave you with these security tips. And with that, we've come to the end of this week's edition. Remember to join us, same station, same time next week. Till then, do have a crime-free week.